what is your wisdom or your process for onboarding look like so you can get people operating at a high level quickly?
Yeah, this is so good. So I've hired people in person and virtually. And what I've found is that whether or not you're in person or virtual, the first 2 weeks to a month, I try to just spend as much time with the person. Now, obviously, I don't want to be spending time doing things that are repetitive, like teaching them something that is a system. But I do think the culture and being kind of engulfed in the culture of who our company is so important. So now my team more or less runs and we have our meetings every week. But in the very beginning, I actually did something called a virtual office where we would have a Zoom open during business hours and our team would just come in and hang out because I wanted new people to get that sense of community and to laugh and tell jokes and say, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, what's going on with that? I found that was when we were operating at the best. Honestly, now talking about it, I'm like, oh, we should bring that back. But it was such effective communication. It was almost like having a real office, but that was really valuable for me when someone's coming in to spend at least 2 weeks, but spend sometimes a month just having an open forum rather than having them shoot me an email or having calls scheduled on the calendar to check in. I would just have office hours in a way where our team would jump on a Zoom and everyone's working. Like we're not all talking, but we're available to each other. We know that we're available to each other. And that really helped as people had random questions that would come up throughout the day. I felt like it helped our culture and it helped them feel comfortable casually approaching the team with questions that they had.
Yeah, I love that idea. It's something I don't do right now. And I have found that when I've been in groups that do like co-working calls, I forget the exact term for it, but we all like in a mastermind or something, they have an hour a week where everybody can hop on, set their goal, and you leave your cameras on and you kind of have that accountability of being there while you work. It's a little different, but there's some kind of community that comes really just from being while you guys are doing your individual work, having your cameras on and being on the same Zoom call.
Yeah.
And it does help create community. So I love that application of it. That's a new one for me. I like that, Alexis. Now, the next question, Alexis, you may not have anything that comes to mind. It's okay to be like, let's just skip that. I'm curious if there's a task or decision in your business today that you're like, I'd like to hand this off. Maybe it's something that brings your energy down or it's tedious, but you haven't delegated it yet. Is there something that comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. That question is easy for me and it's the servicing. I still service all of my loans in-house, mostly because I want to pulse on what's going on. Servicing for me has provided me the opportunity to check in with my borrowers, to check in with my investors.
Right.
It's this natural touch point that happens, but I know deep down, if I want to grow this company, I cannot be collecting and sending payments every month. It's not feasible. And I'll either need to hire a third party or bring in an internal controller. That is the honest answer to that question. It's a hard one for me. I still have tug of war in my head. You can probably see it on my face that one is a hard one for me. It's hard.
Well, and that's the reality of business growth and development is there's times when you're like, I can see the pros of making this change, right? Of outsourcing or something like that. And yet I can also see the con of it too. And we as the business owner have to measure those and figure out what's the best way forward. And that's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of responsibility. It's not the same as being a W-2 employee where you just gotta show up, punch that time card.
Exactly. And I think that's the real thing that happens with entrepreneurship. Just the level of decision making gets harder. You have to be more and more courageous. You have to be more and more strategic. I think those are the character traits and the skills that an entrepreneur has to continue to sharpen because you learn how to lend money. You can lend money forever. You learn how to process a loan. You can process a loan forever. You learn how to do a flip. You can flip forever. But courage, strategy, you have to always mastered it. It's always a new level of, okay,
Right.
I need to be more strategic. I need to be more courageous. I need to make decisions better and faster. I do love that part because I do feel like I'm always growing there.
Right. And that's why I think certain people do so well in entrepreneurship. Like, I love how you're like, you're always learning things and I can relate to that. And if you're not in a situation, I suspect, Alexis, because I know this is how it is for me, if you're not in a situation where you always have the opportunity to learn and grow, you're probably going to get bored, right?
Yep, 100%.
So we have to stay challenged to stay engaged. Okay. So we've got a few more questions. I love everything you've done with teams and with bringing people on so you can grow the business, so you can help more people. Now, what I wonder is what separates a team member who just executes tasks, right? Maybe like a B team player, right? They're okay. They can check off the box, from one who actually drives results for your fund, those A players? What have you seen as the difference between like the B player and the A player?
This is so good. I kind of have a two-part answer. The first one is I think you can tell right away. There is some aspect of you're either hiring an A player or a B player. You can tell from their work ethic. You can tell by the way they do their work. Is it to the best that they could do it? And there's such thing as capacity. Like someone can have the will but not have the skill, right? So that's another thing to evaluate. But I think you can see from the beginning someone's ability to perform. But the second thing that came to mind here is I do think there's an aspect of this that is due to the company culture. If you're not enforcing that proactivity is a core value of your business, then how can you expect anyone to be proactive, right? Everyone's going to be reactive.